What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wow, I've had a very interesting weekend, and I'm going to try not to beat around the bush about it, because I'll likely make the title of this video something similar, to what I'm about to say now, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm about to be a daddy again. That's right. You heard me correctly. I'm about to be a father again. I'm already a father of an almost 17-year-old son. But for those of you who don't know, I'm a 46-year-old guy. I'm actually turning 47 in 2 days. 2 days. It's Monday right now. On Wednesday, I turn 47. And I'm about to be a daddy again. Whew, man. Yeah, so this weekend has been a lot of, roller coaster action for me personally. So my wife now is a person who has struggled with what's called PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and she's struggled with this for most of her life. So she's been told by multiple doctors at this stage of her life, and she's now 38, will be 39 her next birthday, has been told by multiple doctors throughout her life that it's nearly impossible for her to have children and that she won't have children. And so we just always assumed that, there was an inability there for her to have children. And so obviously, no reason for hysterectomy or birth control if you can't have children, right? Obviously we were just willy-nilly whenever we, made love with no protection, anything like that. Well, the past several months, my wife has not been having her menstrual cycle as usual. And normally, in a normal circumstance, that will be a telltale sign, like, duh, a woman's not having her menstrual cycle, she's probably pregnant. However, in this case, it is not a telltale sign, and the reason is because many women, and this is well documented, that have PCOS, constant cysts on their ovaries, will also go through menopause and stop having their menstrual cycle, oftentimes 10, 15 years premature of when most women would. Most women, 50, 55 years old, women will start kind of going through premenopause, that sort of thing. Whereas someone who struggles from something like PCOS, such as my wife, oftentimes will start going through menopause 35, 40 years old sometimes. Again, she'll be 39 her next birthday. So when a few months passed and she was missing her period, our thought process, my wife she's never given birth. She's never had a child, biological to herself. So she doesn't know what pregnancy feels like, right? So our thought process this whole time has been, when she's going through early menopause, that's probably what it is, no big deal. Well, the last several weeks, specifically, she's been having a lot more trouble sleeping at night. She's been having some trouble with nausea, being sick, and she's been wearing baggy clothes because her stomach has just been getting more distended and more distended. And again, her understanding was, well, there must be something else wrong because I can't get pregnant. I can't be pregnant because I can't get pregnant, right? And so she's thinking, oh, I must have, she used to get cysts on her ovaries pretty often. So her thought process is, I've got a cyst, there's some swelling, localized swelling going on with that. I must have something going on, because she's had trouble, like just different things, nausea, with her bowels. She's had trouble, especially in the past month or so, just kind of getting constipated, not having good bowel movements. I know this might be TMI and stuff like that, but these are all signs and symptoms of someone who is pregnant. And we feel like a couple of idiots that we didn't know this and didn't see this, but it's only because of my wife's background with PCOS that we didn't catch this. So this past weekend we were talking about it, and we were going out to run our errands as usual on Saturdays, and we were talking about it, and my wife was telling me that she's been struggling recently, with nausea, and her belly's just getting bigger. She feels like something must be wrong. She at first was just trying to suck it in and just wearing baggy clothes because she didn't want me to think she was just getting fatter and fatter and fatter. And because I'm a person that am really big on exercise and keeping your body healthy, and although I do it in a loving way, in my opinion, I am the kind of person that, if you start living a sedentary lifestyle and you're one of my family members, you're my wife or my child or something like that, I'm a really, really big believer in being physically active. I think it is one of the keys to living a happy and successful life, and a long life as well, healthy life. And so I am the kind of person that if you start getting lazy around me, I'll keep it zipped for a little while, but eventually I'm gonna be like, hey, you've been doing any exercise lately? But what kind of stuff you've been eating? Blah 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 blah. I am the kind of person that will eventually do that. I try not to do it in a judgmental sort of way, but I will eventually say something, and she knows that. So she was kind of just hiding the fact that her belly kept getting more distended and more distended. And my wife is a short, curvier, in a good way, curvier type of woman anyway. So it wasn't anything out of the ordinary for her to have a little bit of pudge, on the front. She's never by any means ever been what I consider fat. But she's always had a little bit of pudge there in the middle, which I don't mind. But more recently, the past month and a half or 2 months, it's gone past the amount of just being a little bit of pudge, and she started to show a more rounded, belly. Again, she's been wearing baggy clothes, so she's kind of hidden it. This weekend, finally, we were having the conversation about what might be going on with her, and I said to her, hey, let's go ahead and just get the pregnancy thing off the table. Let's go ahead and stop and get you a couple of pregnancy tests, and at least we can rule that out as a possibility. And then from there, you need to call the doctor first thing Monday, and let's get you in to see what's going on with you. I don't want you to have to live that way if you're having some sort of health issue or health concern. So we do that. We run our errands. While we're running our errands at the store, we went ahead and got a couple of pregnancy tests. Went back to the house, had her pee on the stick. It's supposed to wait for 5 or 10 minutes before reading the results. We went. She wanted me to read the results first because she was scared to look at it. I looked at the results. Lo and behold, positive pregnancy test. And I know I looked shocked, and I kind of looked at her in shock, kind of like, oh, because we weren't expecting this, and nor were we trying to have a baby. I'm an older individual. I'll be 50 years old in 3 years. So it's not something we were trying to do, not something we were looking to do. But, it's one of those things when God makes the call, you have to answer the call. It's not like I don't believe in abortion, and we're two stable individuals who are nurturing people who have a lot of love to give. And I think God just, wanted us to be able to experience that together as parents. But we're going tomorrow to do an ultrasound. Wait, hold on, let me back up. First thing I did when I looked at it was said, go ahead and take the other one. Go ahead and take the other one. She was like, well, I don't have to pee again yet. I just got through peeing on that one. So we had to wait a little while for her to take the second one, but eventually, she had to go again. So she peed on the stick again. And the second one was just as positive as the first one. So she got 2 very strong positive pregnancy tests. And so your boy's about to be a daddy again at 47 years old. That's right. So that's all the more reason for me, and when this happened, and I looked at it, in the fact that I found this out the same week of my birthday. It's been one of those where, I've looked up and talked to God a few times and been like, all right, the wink and the gun. I get you. I get what you're doing. You know, and this is on the tail end of my journey of coming off of Kratom and the MIT 45 extracts, which had just gotten me completely hooked and addicted. You know, I'm still down to, this past Friday, I took 2.5 grams of Kratom for the whole day. So I've steadily been chopping it back. You know, today, Monday, I've not taken any Kratom today. I'm continuing my, you know, my usual recent tradition of just not taking any Kratom throughout the day and afternoon at all, and then just taking a small dose in the evenings to kind of, you know, make sure I'm able to sleep through the night and stuff like that. And that's what I'm doing again today. I plan on, you know, continuing to chop that down this week. I have an ultrasound tomorrow. My wife and I will probably find out the sex of the baby. As crazy as it sounds, the fact that I'm sitting here saying we just found out this past weekend that we were pregnant, well, we still feel like she's probably 20 to 24 weeks pregnant. So literally, we're probably 5 months along. She's probably approaching her third trimester, if not in her third trimester at this point, because she hasn't had a period in, God, you know, 7 months maybe, something like that. So we really honestly don't know how far along she is, but she's definitely showing. We're definitely feeling some movement of the baby. So we feel like we're definitely at a stage where we'll be able to tell the sex of the baby and everything like that tomorrow. So I will convey that news to you guys. I'm taking off work tomorrow to get all this done and to spend this day with my wife to make sure that everything's going well with the pregnancy, the baby is healthy so far, you know, find out what the sex is, all that good stuff. And we're going to have a lot to talk about and contemplate surrounding this. So I will not be doing a video tomorrow, so just know that. But I will check back in with you guys on Wednesday when I start back work and let you guys know what I have found out, you know, and hopefully what the sex of the baby is and all that. But hey, what a better reason for me to stay on the path that I've been on and, you know, get cleaned up off of this, you know, Kratom and get to a point where I don't need it every day, you know, and I'm not hooked into that cycle of just having to dose on it all the time, or else I feel like shit, you know. Thank God I'm coming down from that. And again today, I plan to continue with where I stopped on this past Friday, which was 4 capsules for the whole day, 2.5 grams of Kratom. I'm going to continue that this evening when I get home. I'm going to take 4 capsules. I'll do that, the same thing, every other day this week. At some point this week, I might go ahead and cut that down to 2 capsules, which will be less than, well, what would that be? Less than 1.5 grams per day. And from there, and like I talked about on one of my earlier videos, from there, I'm definitely going to just come off of it altogether and go at least a day or 2 without taking any Kratom whatsoever. At least until I get to the point where I'm sleeping normally and not having any nighttime discomfort like restless legs or anything like that without having had the Kratom for that day. That is what will let me know that I'm back to baseline, that any physical, you know, any physical withdrawals have subsided at that point. And at that point, you know, I might start taking some Kratom on the weekends again, because that's something I enjoy doing on the weekends. I don't drink alcohol, but I will take some Kratom on the weekends. It's kind of a mood lifter, helps me to relax, have a little bit more fun, you know, just spending time with my family at the house. But that's probably what I'm going to do at that point, is just not take it at all during the week, and then just be a weekend Kratom guy. And, you know, if I'm putting 4 or 5 days in between my usages of Kratom, then, you know, no harm, no foul in terms of, you know, getting hooked on it and getting addicted to it to where you're going to have physical withdrawals and stuff like that when coming off of it. So that's what my plan is. I will keep you guys posted on whether I'm going to be having a girl or a boy. God, that sounds crazy to say that, guys. I'm 47 years old in 2 days. 2 days. 47-year-old man right here. About to have a new baby. Man, when God decides, I'm telling you. And I just want to say, I've got some powerful swimmers, man. My wife was told she couldn't have kids. Like, oh yeah? Well, that's because she hasn't been married to me but for 10 years. That's why she hadn't had kids. Because I definitely have some some strong swimmers, especially for an almost 47-year-old man. But hey, anyway, it is what it is. So anyway, I want to share that with you guys, and I want to share the news with you guys. The jury's still kind of out at this point. Like I said, we're going to the ultrasound tomorrow, so hopefully I'll find out a little bit more. We're always still a little nervous until we go to that first doctor's visit and find out what the sex is, and make sure that all the 10 toes and 10 fingers are present, and that the baby's healthy. You know, I pray to God that is the case, because for sure the first several months of this pregnancy we were not aware that she was pregnant. And so we were still living life as normal. Luckily, you know, she's a pretty healthy person. I mean, she does, you know, exercise some. She drinks a little bit of alcohol, but it's definitely not in excess. She's a moderate drinker, you know, so she's not the kind of person getting trashed every night or anything like that. We eat pretty healthy. You're not supposed to sit in a hot tub when you're pregnant. We own a hot tub. So we've definitely had, over that period of time, probably 6 to 10 instances where we sat in the hot tub for a little while. So little stuff like that kind of concerns us a little bit, but we've done some research on it, and we've come to understand that as long as you're moderate about everything that you're doing, again, moderation is the key with everything. You just can't go overboard with anything. And that's with drug use or, you know, negative things that you might do during a pregnancy. And we haven't. And like I said, we're feeling movement. She's feeling movement. I'm able to feel movement of the baby. So we feel like from that perspective, and her belly's still growing. So obviously the baby's still growing. So that's a good sign. Everything seems okay and pretty par for the course for a pregnancy at this point. But, you know, obviously there's some little concerns in the back of our mind. We're like, oh, we didn't know you were pregnant. Oh, we've been drinking and, you know, still partying a little bit here and there and getting in the hot tub some on the weekends, you know. So all that has ceased. She hasn't gotten in the hot tub or had a drink of alcohol since then. But, you know, I'm sure everything's fine, but I will let you guys know. And I will also keep you updated on my progress this week in terms of staying off of the kratom. So I appreciate you guys sharing this and sharing this moment with me, and you guys have been there with me for the past couple of months on this journey, so I wanted you to be there with me on this part of my journey as well. And, you know, God knows what he's doing. How ironic is that I had enough of the MITs, and I'd had enough of just being locked into that cycle of being addicted to that, and I come down off of it, and then I finally get to the last leg to where I'm almost off of the kratom altogether, and then what do you know, bam, happy birthday, you're about to be a daddy times 2 at almost 47 years old. Man, God has an interesting sense of humor, doesn't he? Alright guys, like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time. Peace.